Women are from Mars and men are from Scotland. We've saw the ugly truth, so you know what that means.
What's up, jerks? That's right, London. Here we go.
Hello, people of Dublin!
J-Man, Big Paul, and the beautiful June. Gonna take us in the groove while the wind is the room.
Thunderpants.
I've got a lot to say. I took notes.
I'm not okay.
People of Scotland! Belfast!
Face full of farts.
Eat 'em all.
Rupert Grimper changed his name.
Rolling dude, getting literal, Jason is getting laid. June is
So upset. I hate this. That's my ugly truth.
This place is full of bees.
It's a real question for you, how did this get paid?
Get this guy out of here.
Hello, people of Earth! And hello, people of Scotland! We are live in Glasgow for a very special Easter Sunday show with Scotland's patron saint, Gerard Butler. For a movie that has not just one Scotsman, but two. That's right, I'm also counting Craig Ferguson. Tonight's movie, if you didn't see it, it's a 2009 rom-com that shows that men are pigs, and to get a good man, a woman's gotta become a pig. Or something like that. I will say this movie is confused about what it is teaching. And it also feels like it should have come out in 1987. And it almost did, because this script was on the shelf for 12 years. And then someone decided to do a rewrite of it, and then we got this. Katherine Heigl's second highest grossing movie. $206 million. This shit worked. We'll break it all down, but first, please welcome my co-host, Mr. Jason Mantzoukas.
What's up, jerks? That's right, Scotland. Yeah.
Here we are in
Yes.
Scotland, finally getting to talk about Gerard
It was
Butler.
daylight savings last night.
Yeah, oh, I know.
I did not know. Because it happened in America 3 weeks ago. I already lost an hour this year. You're telling me I gotta give another back to you fucks? I'm sitting in bed and I genuinely was like, did I just black out for an hour? And truly got upset and feel like you people have robbed me of a second hour of my life. Never mind having to watch this dog shit movie starring your king in exile. My king too.
Jason,
Paul.
I saw this film in the theater. I paid for it now twice.
Oh, this movie, $4.19 to rent, $4.99 to buy. I was like, of course I'm not gonna buy this. I have rented it 4 times on 3 devices. I should have just bought it. I have self-financed a sequel to this movie, I believe.
This movie, what's great about it is it's really rewatchable.
Well, I will say it ages well.
Wait
Here
a
we
second,
go.
wait a second.
Here we go.
No.
Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Here we
my
go.
other co-host has stormed the stage.
Here we
June
go.
Diane Raphael.
Thank you so much. I could not wait a moment longer.
Welcome.
So sorry, June.
No, I couldn't. You both were about to get into it, and I couldn't wait back there.
Well, give it up for
That's-
June one more time.
That's my ugly truth.
And I will say this, June, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, Paul?
I'm well, thank you for asking. You and I saw this movie together.
I don't remember that.
Okay. I do remember that.
So for a while, I would say from the years of 2014 to actually quite recently, whenever Paul and I would see a movie, it meant we were leaving very small children at home. And so every movie we saw in the theater to us was the best movie ever. When we saw Four Christmases over Thanksgiving.
We didn't have children.
We didn't have children, but we were leaving a very intense kind of family situation. We went to the theater and we both turned to each other and said, this is the best movie we've ever seen.
I recently
was
rewatched.
I tried to watch that movie this year. It is absolute horse shit.
It is, but at the time I was like, this is just so good. Now, I don't remember seeing this movie, but I have to be upfront. I liked it.
This movie is what a snapshot of an era.
Time and a place.
What a time. The soundtrack is absolutely insufferable. The clothing is preposterous.
You see, I disagree. I think this is a snapshot of an era that was before this movie. Like, we look at it now like,
I see.
this was definitely like 2004, 2005.
Is it not?
2009.
Okay.
But you have to
Was
imagine...
it on a shelf for 4 years?
No,
Here's the thing. You have to imagine it was written in 2004.
Yes.
Okay.
Got greenlit in like 2005, 2006.
Okay.
It's got
made
big
it...
early 2000s vibes.
It's definitely early 2000s. I need to talk about the wardrobe.
Please, start talking, never stop.
So, the beginning before the big change happens.
Oh, yes. Oh, the makeover montage, the makeover scenes, and then the date montage are just gold.
But I could not take my eyes off her shirts. And there wasn't a single blouse, because they were all blouses, that made any sense.
Outfit made so much
nothing.
so that when he says you've got to dress different, I was like, thank God.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank God there's a man here to tell her what's up.
She does.
I have a theory. My theory is that Gerard Butler in this movie could be the gay best friend.
Well,
Like, he
you know
does
what, Paul?
everything
Because
again-
there are blouses. I know you want to move off the blouses, but we're going to stay here for another minute.
Please.
Listen, I will also say, once we finish talking about blouses, I'd love to talk about hair.
Oh, we're going to go into hair, and then we're going to segue quite nicely and easily into belts.
I'm here for the blouse discussion. I'm just saying that I felt like he acts as if he is a gay best friend.
Yes, and there are some ugly truths that he has to tell her. And one of them is burn your wardrobe.
Yes.
The blouses, there was one that I could have sworn had a hood. There were, every single sleeve was
also
surprising.
That dissonance that's created with very low-rise, skinny jeans, and then a small-ish top that is, hooded and long sleeve.
Now,
And
so
then,
it really cuts the body up in a
Jason.
strange way.
How about the t-shirt vest?
Yep.
That long t-shirt gray vest that had not one skinny belt around it, but two.
Why not?
here, there it is right there, the t-shirt vest. We can all see it.
I mean, come on.
And look at those sleeves have something.
Oh yeah, the sleeves have a button up, like a thing, and like she might as well have epaulets on in certain outfits.
I had a shirt like this that a commercial casting director liked, and I always was like, gotta button up my sleeve. And I like the idea of buttoning up a sleeve, like I'm holding it in place.
Oh, as if this sleeve, gravity is pulling it to the ground.
Like I am made out, like the shirt is made out of lead.
I'm just fighting.
No.
If only I had a snap or a button.
If only I had some piece of technology to make wearing this sleeve easier.
Clamp it up.
Meanwhile, I just will take. I don't want to.
No,
I'm not moving
please,
on from her.
please.
But he wears this absolute, really ridiculous sweatshirt on the air, off the air. This is his best look.
What I didn't like about that was it showed me that he, like, not that he doesn't give a fuck, but it's like, he should give a little bit of a fuck. Like, he's on television.
I feel like, and I'm just conjecturing here, I feel like this is Jerry Butler's sweatshirt.
No,
And he was like,
1,000%.
I want to wear this.
Jason, you know, and I studied his close-ups. And by the way, I'm a huge fan. Huge fan. The movie didn't start until he came on screen, as far as I was concerned. But you know, in every shot, I studied those close-ups because I'm like, wow, he did not, there's no way he sat in a makeup chair for any amount of time. And he looks so hungover.
Yeah.
He's
He's visibly sweaty in a lot of the movie, visibly sweaty, and is exuding so much charisma as to force everybody else out of the movie. He is so compelling to watch. It's incredible.
I became a male chauvinist just watching it. I'm like, I'm sold. I'm on board.
I stand with him. I stand with him.
Believe
Jerry.
Yes. He could out Andrew Tate right now.
I'm ready for it.
He's espousing beliefs I find horrid and reprehensible. And I was like, yes, go!
Now,
Can I tell you the scene where he turned around after Colin, and we'll talk about Colin for a little while,
boy.
but after Colin was in
a dud!
After Colin was in the hotel room, when he turned around and walked away from that room, before she came out, I cried.
If only
so
Colin was played by James Marsden. We needed someone that had life.
He's supposed to be a dud, but you're right. He should have also had more charisma, more of a something. And Marsden's a great one.
Because it's like, you don't want her with him, but like you don't also understand
I'll take
why.
a Speedman.
Yeah. Give me a Speakman. Give me a Scott Speakman. I'm ready.
The thing is that
give me anyone from Felicity.
But that's what the thing is, the ugly truth of it all is that
are you getting paid every time you say the title?
Ding!
And by the way, so many movies that were made during this time posit a world in which every single woman under 30 or 40 and under has a checklist. I've never known a woman to have a checklist. I mean, maybe there's one thing, which is like have a job, or but the idea that women at this time had like a giant checklist.
She feels like she's from like olden days. Like she feels like her.
He must curtsy for me before I get into my carriage.
Her checklist is so thorough as to be and my boy Jerry Butler points out a pure fiction. Pure fiction that at her age, everybody in the movie feels like they're written to be 21 instead of 36.
But the problem with this movie, though, is...
It's flawless?
Well, yes. I mean, because
that's the thing, though, is that this is where I did enjoy the movie, because I was like, yeah, his ideas about women, her ideas about men are just as ludicrous, are just as absurd. Like, he can't see women, but she can't really see a man either. So, again, that's the ugly truth.
But June, no.
I agree.
That's it.
I agree.
June. I think you misread the movie, because at the end of the movie, he makes her him. And it works. And then that's it.
Wait
so
a
he's
second.
right.
You don't think
but
he
she makes
changed
him
too?
her.
Very slightly.
She makes him her.
He was...
Oh, no.
He was already heartbroken. We know that.
He's in love with her. She doesn't do that.
And he has to say it multiple times.
Yes, he's been hurt before, Paul.
At the end of the movie.
At a certain point, he says, go with Colin because he doesn't want to see her get hurt. He doesn't trust himself.
Beth, play clip 8.
I don't like that you can do this.
I had a momentary lapse in judgment when I thought you were more than you are, but you aren't, clearly.
Oh, yeah? What does that mean?
I'm like Chadway. I like girls in Jell-O. I like to fuck like a monkey. Don't fall in love. It's scary.
Yeah, it is scary. It's terrifying. Especially when I'm in love with a psycho like you.
I am not a psycho. Love? Oh.
I just told you that I loved you, and all you heard was psycho. Well, you're the definition of neurotic.
No, the definition of neurotic is a person who suffers from anxiety, obsessive thoughts, compulsive acts, and physical ailments without any objective evidence.
Shut up. Yet again, I just told you I'm in love with you, and you're standing here giving me a vocabulary lesson.
You're in love with me. Why?
shit out of me.
Incredible.
But I am.
No speech, no nothing.
No, they don't need it. They don't need it. Although I will say, I agree, she has behaved like a psycho the whole movie.
He has not
I
made
wrote it.
any change. He is still a straight shooter. He's like, yeah, I said you're a psycho, and that's all you hear. Look, I love you. What else do you need? She's like, all right, I'm in. Let's go. That's how the movie ends. Like, he has not changed one iota. He's not incapable.
He for sure has. He's made himself vulnerable in ways that, Paul, you are not willing to see.
This is the only moment where, like, at one point, Craig Ferguson fucking asks him a hardball question on that show?
And he...
What? He had a fucking robot talking horse on that show. He's asking, who broke your heart? When did he become fucking Oprah?
Yeah. And it rattles him.
Rattles
It
him.
rattles him.
And that's the one moment we're supposed to be like, oh, he's not such an asshole. I guess. Like, we get no detail. We get no detail about what was I had a heartbreak once. Oh, now I'm a relatable character.
No, not once. He says it happened
Multiple
many times. Many times.
It's gonna happen again?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because he can't stay with this psycho.
No.
The woman who does a background check and says to her first date, kudos on your comprehensive car insurance. If I'm Eve from Entourage, I am like, and goodbye, madam. What? And I'm Eve from Entourage?
By the way, E is 5'5", not 5'8".
Yeah. I thought that way, yeah.
Is that true?
That is true.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
can I ask,
I did write at the very beginning, who is the protagonist of this movie?
Well, I guess that's a good place to start, because my big question was, what is this show? Is it a news show? Is it an entertainment show?
I thought you were talking about this show.
This?
I don't know.
Oh, this is How Did This Get Made?
Oh, shit.
I wrote it over and over again because I thought it was one thing, then it was a different. When it was revealed to be local Sacramento, I was like, oh, okay.
Can I just tell you, and I don't
She
mean...
keeps saying it's her show, like she created the news?
I don't want to play down to you, Scotland, at all, and this is also for people on the podcast.
You did say before the show, these people are idiots.
Yeah, you said that, Paul.
That's only because I was next to a person from London. Now, what I will say is this. Sacramento isn't even, like, it's not even a big market. It's a nothing city.
It's a dud. It's a Colin of cities.
It literally has no defining, it has no defining feature. It's not like if you say Sacramento. I live in the state that Sacramento's in. I'm like, the Sacramento Kings play there?
I believe it's our state capital.
It is.
Actually, a lot goes on there.
No, Sacktown, nothing's going.
A lot
Sacktown,
goes on there. Our state really is the generator of like a lot of money in the United States.
But I'm talking about culturally, what is Sacramento?
A lot is decided in Sacramento, but I agree.
Do you think that's why she's dressing so badly, that she's only buying clothes from local Sacramento clothing?
It's possible. Here's the thing about her job, though. I mean, they keep on telling us that she's amazing and she's a hard-hitting producer and like she does journalism. And yet the show that we have seen her do, her show is terrible.
It's
awful.
It's a joke show where the only piece we see is like a cheesy cooking segment.
It's a cooking segment in which the chef gives Cheryl Hines duck, and
why was that meant to be upsetting?
Because I think she was allergic to it. But Katherine Heigl...
But they don't pay off on the joke that she's allergic. She just
I thought she was allergic to crab.
I take allergies very seriously.
No, I know you do.
So if that was the case, then I stand with Cheryl.
I think she was allergic.
Okay.
But again, we're supposed to understand her as someone who's like putting out fires and dealing with big personalities and this and that. And I'm like, well, the duck thing seems like your fuck up, Katherine Heigl.
Well, this is my issue. They literally spend so much time like, she's amazing at her job. Scene 1, scene 2, the show is failing. You're terrible at your job.
Scene 3, scene 4, she has no idea what's happening with production.
Yeah.
She's like, wait, she must have okayed all of these segments, which she's like, what's going on? Where's he going? What's happening?
And then
she doesn't know that they've hired 2 women to Jello wrestle?
And built a set? They
built
built
a
a
set.
restaurant set.
The camera crew is
She's
moving.
bad at the job.
She'd have to sign off on a budget for that restaurant set.
Hiring those actors?
Now, here's what I really didn't understand. And again, I love the movie, but I didn't totally understand when at the end of the movie when CBS is dangling this very attractive offer over him.
Not even a national show. Just mind you, again, just to put the stakes here. This is like you'll go to another small market. It's not like you're gonna get your own show. It's like you'll just do this in Chicago. And he's like,
Bigger
"Now that-
market. Bigger market than Sacktown?
Sacktown
but, like,
to the
we're
Mactown.
We're talking about like a step. It's like
That's step by step, baby. That's
right, there it
that's how it happens.
But here's my question. During that, when she's about to go see him before he's going on Craig Ferguson and on a national market, she's saying to herself, like, your show would be nothing without me and what I did for this show. And I'm like, what did you do?
You
What'd you do?
actively tried to get in the way of the show's excellence that our guy Mike has brought to the equation.
And
I mean,
but the moment where she has the camera guy zoom in on him, on Mike licking the Jello off of one of the lady's fingers, it seems like that is the moment she keeps on pointing to as like the pivotal thing that
right,
launched.
that was her choice.
Well,
That
there
was her
definitely
choice.
is, like, they start to really, as their
Vibe.
flirting becomes a thing, it starts to be evidenced in the work, that they feel like they work, and they're getting a 12 share or all
but
this
she's
kind of
not,
jargon.
By the way, a 12 share in Sacramento is insane.
That's impossible.
Again, this move, like, just put her in LA. Why are we making it so fucking complicated?
Well,
it's like,
I did love the reason why he was in Sacramento. That made sense to me. Like,
I
he
wrote
has
that.
to-
Why is he in Sacramento?
He's in Sacramento because his sister, who doesn't have an accent, lives there.
I believe that he's trying not to have an accent.
I think,
What?
No, I spent all of Act 1 being like, is he pretending to be American?
I think he is.
I didn't
Because
even
it's
notice
not
that.
working. And then at one point, I think, do they do a background check on him? And someone says
He
came to
over
this
here.
country when he was, I don't know, 6 or something. But
Kid
I think
worked
he
that
would've-
accent out from 6 to 30?
My dad came to America when he was 12, no accent.
Well, the only thing that I loved was that he was on local access, like, which means that anyone can do a show. He was on like local access and everyone's talking about it. And his set is truly amazing. Can we look at this? This is scene 3.
Now listen up, ladies, because I'm only going to say this once.
The mannequins in lingerie is next level with a hockey
Little
stick.
Words. Men are simple. We cannot be trained.
Why
All
is
this
he
Men are from
barbecuing?
Venus.
He's
Crap
burning
is
the
a
books.
waste
Oh.
of your time and money.
Okay,
You want to be a lonely hag? Then that's fine.
This is the
Keep
saddest
reading these
apartment
stupid
I've ever
books.
seen.
But you want a relationship?
The art in her apartment
Here's how
is
you get one.
tragic.
It's called a Stairmaster. Get on it and get skinny.
The
and
apple
get some
painting?
trashy lingerie while you're at it. Because at the end of the day, all we're interested in is looks. And no one falls in love with your personality at first sight. We fall in love with your tits and your ass. And we stick around because of what you're willing to do with them. So you want to win a man over, you don't need 10 steps. You need one. And it's called a blowjob. And don't forget to...
My question, because what follows is she calls into the show. She calls into the show and they have a conversation. And it's fiery and he likes it and then they go back and forth and it's their first bit of flirting in the movie before they even have met each other or anything like that. And then subsequently the next day, Art from Bosch, give it up my Bosch heads in Scotland.
Bosh!
We got a couple. Art from Bosch, who's the boss, is there, and he's like, I hired this guy, blah, blah, blah.
Last night. He hired him in the middle of the night.
Now, yeah.
And he starts work the same day.
Clearly, after seeing this episode where his employee, Katherine Heigl, calls in, nobody recognizes that it's her calling in, which is absurd. Everybody must be like, hey, isn't that you?
By the way, it's also 2009, and he's just doing a straight up radio show on television.
He's doing like a Howard Stern show type show.
I mean, he's not looking at the camera. Like, this is the worst show of all time. Like, just put him on the radio. Put him on the radio.
What should have happened subsequently for the math of a romantic comedy, the reveal that they had that call should happen like right going into Act 3.
Yes. Agreed.
It should have been like, that was me, and he'd be like, wait, what? Oh my, that they had this connection. She tells him immediately, we had a conversation last night. She's giving away all of her power in that moment. This movie wants to be dirty and raunchy, and it's not. The more it gets, I'm like, ooh, wait,
Stop,
what?
please stop.
The worst ending scene of all time. They have sex, and he's like, did you really come? And she's like, you'll never know.
Awful.
True love?
That's
Question mark?
reprehensible. I'm sorry. The only person that we know for sure makes her come is a child. I want you to sit with that, Scotland. The only person to successfully make her character come in this movie is a child. And we are in. We are back in. I want that on the pod.
And I will say that should be the t-shirt, a little kid with that vibrating stick in his hand. And he goes, I got what you need.
I could not believe that they gave that scene to a child. I was like, why isn't he using it?
Right,
what?
Can I ask this question?
By the way, if he had the controller, it would have been so hot. So hot that he's surprising her and she didn't know that's what they were
all right,
or
well,
something.
This
What
is
a
my
great
issue.
moment.
This is my issue with that scene. And I
hope it's that there was a kid manning the remote, because
That's the only issue there is.
If you're cool with that but have a different issue, I'm open to it, but I'm not, I don't know. I think you should be on board for my thing.
Nope. I got a different issue. Kid be damned. The kid doesn't know. He thinks it's a Tamagotchi. So, now, here's what I'll say.
We know.
That kid can
know.
read. That kid can read, and that's got some pretty suggestive material on the label.
All right, my issue with that scene was, it felt to me like they were trying to do an homage to like when Harry Met Sally, like when she does the fake orgasm scene. From my memory of that, I've seen that movie within the last 2 years. That is a sexy scene. There's something about it that's like, you're like, oh, what I see in that moment
can I just
is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's not sexy. It's sweaty. It's weird. And she seems powerless. But then all the guys kind of came in their pants and like, whatever you want, we'll give it to you. It's like, why? She looks completely unhinged.
Well, it is forced, and it's, you look at Meg Ryan's performance and it's so realized and it's so perfect, and what we are forced to witness here is so uncomfortable.
I think the difference that you're talking about, though, with Meg Ryan in this is like, Meg Ryan is in control of that moment. Like, if we're talking about it from that point of view, like, she's
Not
in control.
only is she in control, but it is at Billy Crystal's expense.
Right. And in this, she's not in control, and she's fighting it so hard.
Walk away from the table.
And I don't
Walk
even,
away.
Go to the bathroom.
And
She's like, she rides the wave the whole time.
And she's pitching something that's so unsexy, like Sweeps Week commercials. I don't even know. It's like, what am I excited about here? Just like a person going, so the commercials that we'll have are gonna
And
be
this is in a family restaurant with corporate and her date. Like, there's so many things. It's a hat on a hat on a hat.
And it's just so hard because all I kept on thinking was like, just take your undies off.
Okay, go on.
Just if you're trying to struggle through, and that's what was very distressing about this scene, which was like, yeah, someone else is doing it to her, but none of it feels real, and also she's fighting it so much that it's like, we'll just take them off. Go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Take them off.
Well, and then
it's not like she doesn't know what it's coming from.
I'm gonna
like,
say this.
It's your underwear. Take it off.
I also think that, and maybe I'm just wildly wrong and I've never experienced this kind of an orgasm, but I think in this scenario, I may have been able to be like, mind over matter, I'm gonna be cool about it. You know, I'm not gonna give over to losing complete control. I'm gonna be. It's like when you get a boner in sweatpants, you know, in like high school, and you're like, oh, I can't wear sweatpants anymore.
But again, like, can I go on the other side of this and say, but what am I, the audience member, supposed to feel? And what am I supposed to feel if I'm an actor at that table? It's like, is she turning me on? No. What am I seeing her do? Come. Okay.
Well,
like that's
right.
me as the audience is going, okay, I'm watching her come against her will. Sexy.
Yes.
At the
It's
table,
true.
at the table, I'm like, she seems insane. Where does this scene work for anyone besides making her come when she hasn't come for 11 months?
After this dinner rather, she should be fired and dumped.
Or just make her talk about something sexy. Like, do something that, like, is together. It's so weird. It's
very strange.
Go to the bathroom. It would have been less weird for her to be like, I'm so sorry, I'm going to have diarrhea. And just fully cheese in the bathroom. That's a Scottish phrase.
So, I know that Katherine Heigl is a producer on this film. And I feel like she added a lot of stuff, which I do think...
And so is her mom.
Which makes this movie a little complicated, because they're not really... I think every time they give her a flaw, they're also kind of correcting it. But there was one thing that I feel like I watched, and I was like, oh, this is a Katherine Heigl thing, and it's flossing. There's a lot of flossing.
Disgusting.
And that's not fun for me as an audience member or me as a person. I have to do it. Don't want to see it.
I don't ever want to see someone floss.
And she covets it when she's absolutely creeping on Colin from the tree, when she's peeping on him, and she's like, oh, he's flossing, drenched.
Hey.
Like, what?
She climbs up a tree to get a cat who was up there for about 5 seconds.
D'Artagnan? No. That to me suggests there are 2 dead cats.
Oh, wow.
You don't name one cat after a single musketeer.
Do you think that
Those are 3 cats.
D'Artagnan was my favorite.
That they passed under suspicious circumstances?
Oh, I think they swallowed too much floss. Those cats are dead.
I do want to just... One of my favorite scenes in the film was when Gerard Butler's young nephew interrupts the morning show. He goes, oh, I just came from school. So you had this moment in school where you tried to ask out a girl, it didn't go well, you're like, peace. Drove over to the local news affiliate. I gotta wait until he's off the air. Like, this is like 9:30, 10 a.m. in the morning.
This kid left school to come here to be like, should I say yes to this girl who asked me to the Sadie Hawkins dance? Gerard Butler is like, are you kidding? You've got girls asking you out? That's what a Sadie Hawkins dance is, my guy. The girls ask the boys.
Ay, ay, ay.
Ay, ay, ay.
Can we talk about the hair?
Yes.
And hair in general as a narrative, motif for women in romantic comedies. As soon as I saw her and her hair was slicked back in a bun, I was like, well, the hair's about to tell a story. You know that hair's coming down.
Yeah.
But then it comes down and it then has an
short.
extension. Okay, yeah.
Well, that's what was so fascinating, which is like, I thought, the hair's just going to come down out of its bun at a certain point, and when she becomes more relaxed. But it not only came down, but it doubled in size.
Yeah.
It was so wild, and the idea...
Well, he's like, you need longer hair because men want something to grab on. And then
I did find that offensive. I was like, she looks great with shorter hair. I love shorter hair.
Looks great. But I think his point is like, you're all business. And that's not what his caveman mentality is, guys want something to grab, guys want something to move.
But isn't a ponytail something easy to grab?
I think it's too business. It's too business.
Yeah, the ponytail thing,
And if
ponytails seem fun
Also,
to
if
me.
you pulled those extensions during sex, guess what?
It's gonna come out.
Also, June,
I think we've all been there. Uh-oh.
I know
I'm
it's
so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I know it's movie magic, but June, would you ever take out a whole back half of extensions like that?
Yes.
Your Uber pool is here.
Her hair, yes. A lot of extensions are just clipped in as like sort of a one piece.
Okay, so that just came out real quick. Okay.
Yeah, but it was absolutely psychotic that she did it in front of Colin. Like, this is who I am.
Yes. Yes.
It's like-
As if he would be like, ew! Disgusting!
Disgusting.
It's such a small transformation. It's
Yeah.
not like she
Also-
rips off a mask and is like, I'm your sister.
Here's a bigger question for Colin. When he met her, she had a shoulder-length bob. One day later, she has hair to the middle of her back. The guy is a doctor. He should be like, hang on, what's up with your hair?
Oh my God.
It's also like what I couldn't figure out is I think there's a real, and I think it's part of why I'm shocked it's 2009. It feels like it's the early 2000s. There's a real, I wouldn't be surprised if this was in fact a script, like you said, June, written many years earlier, because if it's 2009, why does he have a physical answering machine that is like, hey, it's Christy, I'd love to beep. Hey, it's Nikki. If I don't get your big throbbing boop. Hey, it's Karen. I'm sopping boop. And it's like a cassette answering machine, but people have cell phones.
Because there was a while where people were writing feature movies where they could the basic structure of the movies were already there. This doesn't make sense. But in many movies, it was like, oh, I didn't get your call, or I missed it, or I wasn't home yet. And with the advent of cell phones, that device went out the window. So I do feel like there were a number of movies that were just like, we're not dealing with cell phones yet.
I mean, again, this movie does so many lazy writing things like, but I have a date tonight. Bring them. Like this, if we say it fast enough, you won't clock that this makes no fucking sense. Also, why are they picking her up at her house?
And why are they both at the door?
And also, why are the Jell-O wrestling girls there? It's not just that Colin's there. Imagine if the movie was just about Colin. What a weird ride he's on. He's a doctor. If I found out my doctor was up to this, I'd be like, I'm gonna see somebody else.
Hey,
because
look,
you're wasting your life.
Colin thought he could hack it in the big time of Sacramento. That's what happens. You get brought out on dates, you meet Jell-O girls. And I mean, and Colin literally, I mean, I know, I want to talk
Colin
about...
sucks.
I hate Colin.
Colin sucks. The montage of them dating is embarrassing. The flowers he sends her are terrible.
He's just so unappealing. It's like, what? It doesn't work. We need more of a James Marsden, because it's just like, oh, he's so vanilla. There's no reason to be interested in this man.
Well, it really is. It's forcing her to be like, do you want to embrace who you think you wanted and what you thought your life was going to be? Or are you going to say, fuck it, I like cock and go with this guy?
I guess so, but at a certain point, and I'd love to see these DVD extras, but they do... Her and Colin have to talk to each other. I mean, they're spending time together on
They must have shot those
games.
scenes. They shot those scenes and then they were like, fuck it, montage.
What are they talking about?
Montage. We'll get somebody to cover a ska version of some old song. It'll be cool.
I mean, that's why that's what I'm saying. She has not changed. I mean, she learns her lesson because she hires a rapist instead.
Wow.
That was...
And how do we find out that he's a rapist? His first time on air, he admits to dozens of rapes. If not over 100 rapes.
By the way, kudos to that casting director, because that guy was perfect. I bought him as a guy who could pull off a lot of rape. You're like, oh, he's nice. He's like, come into my house. Let me drill into the back of your head. Like, he felt scary to me.
He was Creep City.
Yeah.
What was his audition like?
Also, I could not get over when we saw a little bit of it, but that our big third act set piece was taking place at a balloon festival.
Oh.
Where I was also like, I thought those big balloon festivals happened in Albuquerque.
Well, they talked about it.
It actually happens in Temecula.
Yeah. They talked about it earlier in the movie, too.
they did? I
They
missed
seeded
that.
it early. But the scene that we saw, and I won't force us all to watch it again because
Please.
it's truly awful, but it would have been so easy for when Gerard Butler comes and jumps into her basket, she's doing an impromptu, after she kicks the rapist out of the balloon basket, she starts talking about Jerry Butler. He runs over, he jumps in with her. It would have been so easy for the balloon to just lift off. They instead put a guy an operator in the balloon, who then has to be there for all of the scene we just saw. And Beth, will you play it again? Just for a brief moment. We don't have to listen to it.
That's scene 8.
But I would love it if we would just watch the man in the yellow shirt sadly drink champagne and try to be invisible in a major motion picture.
I just told you that I loved you, and all you heard was psycho. You're the definition of neurotic.
We're inside their thing. Here's this guy.
Anxiety, obsessive
Here's this
thoughts,
guy just
compulsive acts,
sipping.
and physical
Just
ailments
sipping
without
up,
any objective
looking away.
evidence of-
Shut up.
It's not a cameraman
And
because
again,
they made sure
I
to
just told
affix
you
a
I'm
camera
sorry.
to the balloon. We
Now
don't need a
here's-
cameraman.
Here's the other issue with that scene. There's one moment where they go, they're on TV, they're live. Yeah, you're in the control room. At any point you go, and they're
Stop.
not live anymore. Like,
Stop it.
done.
And
That's
that-
the people yelling, they're live, have every opportunity to stop it from being live.
And the crazy part was I was like, oh, I guess maybe for a second, because I thought the same thing as you, Jason. Like, why didn't they just have it going up and us like be able to see this moment where they're dealing with falling in love with each other and hating each other, but then they're also
they're in this
dealing with
beautiful-
surviving on a balloon
Great
that they've never
stakes.
piloted. Great scene. And I was like, oh, but they need someone there because they're actually in a hot air balloon. They're
Nope.
actually flying. No.
Who cares?
But they're on a green screen, so obviously.
Wait, that's a green screen? It's so realistic.
So in that case, though, like, why not just put them up there on their own?
They told Gerard Butler it was going to look like 300. He's like, oh, good, I get it, green screen. And then he's like, whoa, shit,
It
this
made-
looks terrible. This
it
looks like
was-
my kid's iMovie.
The one
This is
moment
pretty
in the
terrible.
movie where they were like, well, it wouldn't make sense for them to go up without a driver. Who cares? None of the shit you've
cares?
shown us makes sense. We just watched a kid make her come. You think we're gonna disagree? I'm out on this movie. There's not an operator in the balloon basket.
This movie, I wrote down, like this movie, like the arc of this movie, if you really want to trace it, is it starts with Natasha Bedingfield and it ends with Flo Rida. And that really is like, that's all I need to know. Happily ever after, question mark. And how do we begin? Once upon a time. I mean, this movie is, I don't know what it's positing at all, because at the end of the day, what is my takeaway?
I know you
Who
keep
is the
on,
lead
you
character?
keep on asking these questions.
Yeah,
Paul.
we don't have the answers.
Because it's like, it feels to me like a he's not that into you type of movie where
Yeah.
I think women are supposed to leave going like, oh, I get it now. And men are supposed to be like, I got it.
But then I feel like there are scenes and moments that almost feel like they think they're doing like something about Mary.
Yeah.
Like the blowjob
Yes.
at the baseball game scene, which is a crime that is happening in the stands.
terrible.
Where it appears as though she's like giving him an aggressive blowjob. She's just cleaning his pants, but it looks as though she's giving him a blowjob. They're on the kiss cam.
But they're for a minor, like again,
And like 20
a minor league baseball. Like,
Yeah.
can we lower the stakes anymore? Let's put it at a kid's game. Like, I mean,
Why
like,
not? Then she'll come.
You know, he is very watchable.
Oh, he's more than watchable. He's absolutely making the movie
Yeah.
make sense in a way that in any other hands, you would be
and
like,
I will say that there are some ugly truths that he shares. Like the scene where he stops her from calling Colin after
Yeah.
they've met once. I was like, yes, please
all the
stop
stuff
her.
when he's Cyranoing her, I thought was terrific. When
Yeah.
when she's got the earwig in and they're at the baseball game and he's telling her what to say. I thought all that stuff was really funny, and he's being very charming.
And I will say, and I haven't been single in a while, but and I'll share this hot tip for any of my single ladies, which is if there's a guy that you're waiting for him to text you back, and you're in that moment, that time period, which is very difficult, you text him, but call him the wrong name. Or say something like, actually, this is what you do.
Curb Your Enthusiasm
No,
episode.
this is what you do. You text him and say,
Sorry, not for you.
I'll see you around 7:30.
Right.
Is this a known?
Right, yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah,
yes.
okay, so, and then he will write back, because he has to.
Was that for me?
Yeah, it's 7:30, is that for me? And you say, very little information, so sorry, I thought this was someone else, hope you're doing okay.
Sorry, that was for
That's it.
Derek Jeter.
And it just gets them thinking, you know?
They're like,
so
what is she doing?
There were
What?
some ugly truths
No.
there that I was like,
June,
yes,
it has been too long since you've been single.
No, that shit
Because-
works.
no.
My friend has a phrase, and I think this is so helpful. And again, I haven't been single for a long time,
June and
but
I
I'm
were-
keeping this in my back pocket.
Wow.
Should I ever need it?
The last time June was single, people were T9 texting, which meant that you had to type each letter.
Tick, 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 tick. Tick, tick, tick. Tick, 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 tick.
But she always said, which is what one of the ugly truths he shares, be a lighthouse. Be a lighthouse.
What does that mean?
It basically means
It's a great phrase.
when you are waiting for a guy to text you back or call you, you picture yourself as a lighthouse. And you're just shining your light. You're shining your light. You're shining your light.
And has this worked? Has this
That
worked
is
for?
I'm gonna need to know
literally-
who this friend is, because this person is giving you terrible information.
Here's another-
This is a bunch of married women giving out single advice.
No. And then she said, what you
need to be
do.
a lighthouse.
Lighthouse, be a lighthouse. I totally understand what that means.
Like on
You
in
need-
Coastal
be a
Maine.
lighthouse. Like you
You
don't do
need-
anything else but shine your light. And then the other thing is once it's about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, and you're still waiting for your text, and you're still waiting for that, whatever, that connection, that's when things are the most dangerous. That's when you pull out a bottle of NyQuil. And you
Wait, what?
I knew this
What's
was
happening?
coming.
What?
I
And you
knew-
record a chopped and screwed album? What's going on here?
This-
literally put
Letter-
yourself out. You
Get
put
it?
yourself
Oh,
out.
I see. You have to
Thankfully-
shut it off so you don't do any
Yes.
damage. I get
Thankfully,
it.
now
Yes.
there are apps that do that for you.
You know
don't
what?
have to
People
drug
don't use
yourself.
those apps. People are still out here saying nuts stuff.
Yeah, late night.
All right. Who has a question about this film that, okay, here, oh, you do? Okay, great. Hi, what's your name?
Kathleen.
And your question?
We think June will be particularly offended by this one, but what did we all think about the fact that the present that Gerard Butler gave was already opened?
Oh my God!
Oh
Yes!
my God!
Yes!
I cannot believe
Yes!
we didn't talk about this.
Yes! Clearly used! Clearly used! I wrote it down too. Open and used.
I cannot believe
What?
we didn't talk about this.
What? She absolutely
God.
should get tested.
Not only was it, okay, so I had so many issues with that box because
In more
It
ways
also-
than one.
it also looked so old
More ways than one.
and it was open. You know, it was
More ways than one. Rule of threes. I'm done.
If he gave it a good
was-
washing, it's probably fine. Right?
That was wild. That it was an open box of vibrating underwear. That was chilling.
that she put on.
And by the way, if she had put that on with that dress, it would have been all bunched up you would have seen it all bunched. She didn't have a visible panty line at all. That thing has lots of wiring and
Yeah,
metal.
lots of tech. That was
Okay.
This
so
is a
disgusting.
movie. Imagine the technology, the vibrating technology, at a time when characters are also using cassette answering machines. This is
She
not
might have been
current.
electrocuted. That's it. That's a torture device, an S&M device. Maybe it's in 50 Shades of Grey. All right, so your name?
Hi, my name's Gillian. at the beginning of the movie, when she's at the news station-ish, and she's making small talk with her colleagues, why does she say that her colleague has balls the size of Volkswagens?
Well, there is so much inappropriate
such
stuff
a good
said in the
question.
workplace in this movie. So much inappropriate stuff said in the workplace. When she enters the job, doesn't someone walking by say, you look hot today, or you look beautiful today? Or somebody says something that it's so crazy.
Yes, and then her response is like, "Ugh, it's one of those days,
Yeah.
isn't it?"
One
I
of those
didn't even
days where I'm
understand that.
immediately complimented upon entering the workplace.
She also says something that I thought was, again, this idea that this movie doesn't know exactly what it's trying to do, when I think this is the writer, not Katherine Heigl's character saying this, but Katherine Heigl says to Gerard Butler, she's like, oh, and your whole audience just jerks off to you. And I was like, no, I don't think that's
It's a pretty...
I don't think that's what's happening there. I don't think that his male audience is jerking off to him talking. But it felt like she said it so intently that I was like, yeah! And it's like, and I was like, oh.
You kept on asking Paul, like, what's her journey? What is her narrative throughout the movie? And what does she learn? I think the movie is trying to tell us that she is having a sexual awakening.
I think
she
you're
doesn't masturbate. She's not in touch with her body. I think that's what we're supposed to believe. And
So a drop dead
that she's
Fred
kind
scenario.
of leaving behind her childlike ideas about the Prince Charming perfect man and is willing to enter the real world and pursue what she wants as a grown woman. Maybe? That's the ugly truth.
All right, I have a question over here.
Hi, I'm Gary. Near the beginning of the film, her cat, D'Artagnan, presses the remote to change the channel on the television. That seems like foreshadowing that when she has the vibrating pants, that the cat is going to make her orgasm. And does that make a better movie?
yes,
If
the
they,
answer is yes. If the cat was doing it,
Yes.
Yeah.
If they kept cutting back to her apartment and the cat being like, boom, onto the thing, and she's like, oh! And nobody knows why
I
it's
love that
happening but
idea.
us, the audience? Oh boy, that would be funny, because that's pussy and pussy.
All right, I got a question back here. All right, go for it. No, I hold the mic.
Paul, be careful.
Go either way.
You shouldn't have to tell someone more than once. No.
I
hold the
said
mic.
it, and they're
No,
like,
no.
oh, yeah, I'll hold the mic. All right, here we go. What do we got?
I just wondered, in the kind of date scene that Katherine Heigl had, she talks about the height of the guy that she's on a date with. Katherine Heigl is 5'8.5", but the person that she's on a date with is allegedly 5'9". But as we've discussed, it's all with a stat.
5'5".
Yeah. So are we to believe in this movie that Katherine Heigl is actually like 6'2"?
I would love it if she was like, I was in the WNBA. I would love it if she dunked at one point. Yeah, that would be amazing.
This is why I leave this part in. I've always had such a soft spot for Katherine Heigl because she is a tall woman. And tall women are often not represented on film and TV. I know that's not something that everybody knows, but I'm 5'9", and I'm very, very tall in the film and TV industry. So when I see another tall woman, I have to
I'll say
tip my hat to her.
The men in our industry also usually quite short.
Very tiny, which is why it's hard.
I said short, you said very tiny.
Tiny. There's slips of things. They're barely there.
You said very tiny while looking right at me.
Very tiny.
It's a chill right to my bones.
And it has been very hard to work as a tall woman because a lot of the men, and I won't name any names right now.
Please don't say me, please don't say me, please don't say me.
They don't want to have like love scenes and have you play their love interest if you're taller than them. So I do appreciate that about Katherine Heigl, that she's 5'8".
I'm in the balcony.
Give it up for the balcony!
Let me hear you, balcony monster.
Ooh.
Be careful.
Oh, these Glaswegian balcony monsters.
All right, I'm in the balcony. Here we go. Yes, I'm going to lean into you. If you lean towards me, here we go.
Hi, I'm Simon.
Hi, Simon. What's your question?
So if this movie to be made nowadays, they would reverse the roles and they'd have the guy as the uptight, control freak, kind of inexperienced, and they'd have the girl as the foul-mouthed, kind of sex-obsessed, crude person. So my question, kind of in two parts, who would you cast in the newer version in those roles, and how would you have the restaurant scene go in that version?
Wow. Now, I will say, I didn't want to embarrass him, but I will say I know that he is the inventor of an electric butt plug, a remote control butt plug. So I think he is trying to get us to talk about his brand new product. But
well, by the way, there were movies that were made after this that were like supposed to be the reverse. There was a backlash against this like type A woman, and those were the movies that came out in like 2012, 2010. No Strings Attached. There was another one that were very much so Friends with Benefits, that were like, women don't want to be tied down. They just want to fuck.
Women fuck too.
There was a whole series of them. And so they did, but they also didn't work. I mean, here's the thing, right? Like and there's so many references in rom-coms to like the elusive female orgasm. And it is a trope that, thankfully, I think is being put to bed.
The elusive...
That women fake it.
Yes.
Because it's so tired and it's so sort of... It reinforces the idea that women's, like, real sexual responses are too much of a mystery for us to even believe that they happen.
When I was a kid, there was still the narrative inside of TV and film that is, does the clitoris exist? And if so, prove it.
Yes.
And that's truly wild to consider, as this is a piece of biological certainty.
And no one talks about the real problem, which is, are men faking it?
Yeah. Paul, you said something earlier, which is that man is has a butt plug thing. Do you think the underwear in the movie was a butt plug?
Oh, no, he was like, how would that scene play out with the roles reversed? Like, if you needed to shock him. I mean, I guess you could put like some sort of robot vagina on him, but I think a butt plug scene would be funnier.
You know, some sort of pocket pussy situation?
Yeah. Your name, sir? Your question?
Hi there, my name is Chris. My question is this. I'm not
I like that rhyme. I mean, come on, tell me that. I know to you that sounds normal, but boy, that sounds great. Say it again.
My name is Chris. My question is this.
Just lovely.
I'm not an actor, and I'm fully aware that I'm asking this to someone who has actually appeared on screen with Jane Fonda. Fantastic. So my question is this. Do you think it was Katherine Heigl or the director that decided for every scene she has to either be Sheldon Cooper or Zooey Deschanel? Because she just jumps from one extreme to another. She's either completely type A or she is just horny as fuck.
Good question. I mean, look, Chris, when he asks this question, he knows what he's going to ask. Yeah, I mean, she does. That's the problem that I have with this movie is she's always correcting. It's like, well, I don't want to be that uptight. So then she undercuts it, and then she's battling with herself. And that's what I think is confusing about this movie, because even the makeover, I'm like, honestly, I don't see that much of a difference.
Well, when she has the moment with Colin, when she has the moment finally where she's like, what is it that you like about me? And she's like, all of those things, that's not who I am. Like, I'm actually the woman that you're describing as someone you're not interested in, right? And that she's like, I've been lying to you the whole time. I've been pretending to be this other person. But really, I feel like what the movie has been showing us is that she is finding a complexity of who she is, leaving behind perhaps this idea of who she is, and engaging in behavior that is out of her comfort zone, but is being rewarded for it. And my question is, does she not like the person that she's becoming? Is she unhappy with the choices that she's made?
I also would argue that moment with Colin, where she goes, I'm this person. We're supposed to be like, is that triumphant? You've lied to this man for 6 months, and you're like, haha, fuck you, you shallow prick. It's like, what? He didn't do anything wrong.
Agree.
Well, then she says that he's great, and listen, I'm not worried about Colin. I can't take him on. He's fine or he's not.
A deleted scene. The movie was supposed to end with them getting married,
Her and Colin?
No. Gerard Butler and Katherine Heigl get married, and at the wedding, you pull out to reveal that Colin is now dating...
Joy?
Yes.
Oh, her assistant?
Joy.
Whoa. We just got a shocking reveal here. Hold on. What's her name?
My name's MC.
Wait, what
On
is
my
it?
second viewing of this film, I became deeply invested in Joy's journey. And I have now posited that the reason she can't date and the reason her breasts have not been touched in a very long time is because she is, in fact, a figment of Katherine Heigl's imagination. Because she never has a scene with anyone except Katherine Heigl where they have any meaningful conversation.
That's really good.
And she's far too excited about what happens in the hot air balloon.
That would make this movie so much more interesting if there were, in fact, if essentially Katherine Heigl's character was having a mental collapse.
I don't know how we can get atop of that, but I think we can try here. What's her name?
Oh, don't put that much pressure on me. My name is Alicia, and I would like to say first, as someone who was born in Sacramento, you are 100% correct.
Thank you, Alicia.
Sacktown in the house. Why are you here?
I'm from Sacramento. My question is there anything in this film besides Mike's character being a terrible role model to a small child like 3 times that makes him less of a douchebag?
Good question.
Like, why are we supposed to like him?
Oh, God, that's a really tough question.
This gentleman has it.
That's a really
why?
tough one.
Wait, listen. This is why.
His love of tap water.
Yes! 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 That's... The movie turns. Katherine Heigl legitimately falls in love when he says, tap water, it's all the same, isn't it? She's like, oh my God, it's him. It's been him the whole time because we agree on tap water.
To answer your question about why we want her to end up with him.
Oh, I want to be clear. I'm not rooting for them at all.
That's true.
I'm not rooting for them. I'm not shipping them. I'm not on board because I don't want him to be saddled with her. Is that mean?
No,
leave that in?
No, I feel the same.
I'm saying leave that in? Question mark?
I feel the same. I want more for him.
Yes! Let him date Joy. She seems like a fucking blast.
All right, yeah. Okay, what's your question? Who has a better one? What do you think? All right, you got it right here.
Hi, my name's Chrissy. My friend Malcolm here actually bought the DVD for us to watch, which meant we got to watch the special features. And in the special features, there's a making of short where Katherine Heigl talks about the underwear scene as her discovery of physical comedy. They had to shoot it 37 times. 37 times they shot that scene in the restaurant with that small boy.
What?
And she said her body hurt all over.
Why?
I'm really
37 times.
What do you mean?
Makes me angrier. I will just say this and actually leave this part in. Leave this part in. Like, please, leave the comedy to comedians. Please. Like, not everybody can do it, and that's okay. It's fine.
And also, please, leave the coming to people who know how to do it.
Please.
Like that little boy.
Like that. This movie has more. Can you get house lights again? I'm so sorry. Is that easy? I'd like a show of hands. How many people in this room have genuinely, prior to having a stressful, anxiety-producing, nerve-wracking conversation, practice what they're gonna say out loud when other people are around? Because both of them do it. He does it in the hotel, she does it in the cab. She's like, oh, hello, penis face. And the guy's like, excuse me? And she's like, oh, nothing, I'm just practicing. Like, there's so much practicing of what people are gonna say that I was like, nobody does this. Does anybody do that? You do it?
I'm on the spectrum.
Oh, you're on the spectrum, okay.
Okay.
Well,
No,
great. That's a great answer.
Great answer.
Great answer. Fair enough.
Amazing.
Great.
Can't beat that. And here's what we'll say. Obviously, we have an opinion about this movie, but now it's time for second opinion.
Hi, my name's Andy. When you watch this, well, I know you're gonna call this film a red flag piece of crap. But if you listen, there are lessons for us all, like water's just as good when taken from the tap. Well, I would give this film 5 stars, and I would give it 5 stars more. Heigl fixes years of sexist shit by calling Jerry B a whore. It's the cat's fault. It's the cat's fault. Sacramento got horned as the nobles were getting laid. Was her being flicked by a child? You'll never know, but thank God that this film got made.
Yes!
Incredible!
I mean,
great work.
There are 5,344 total reviews of The Ugly Truth. 81% are 5 stars. 2% are 1 stars. 2. I've never seen it that low. These reviews, buckle up, people, because they are wild. C. Jack reviewed this on my birthday in 2019 and writes, Gerard Butler does comedy brilliantly, lighthearted and cathartic, even my second time seeing it. That's the title. I am cutting into the second paragraph of his review by saying this. I've seen this movie when it was released and paid to stream it tonight. I recalled it being a light comedy that tells it in many ways what men think about relationships, and many of their thoughts and conclusions are due to their pain and suffering in relationships that didn't work. There are several other comedies that play this theme in a comical fashion. Hitch, What Women Really Want, and Someone Like You, to name a few. Sometimes movies are meant to be light and an escape, and not trying to win an Oscar or go beyond being entertaining. I've paid to see this twice, and I'd pay to see it again. This was a great, cozy night at home when it's outside, currently -6 degrees, with a -24 wind chill. Brrr. It made for a relaxing evening. 5 stars.
It made for the ending. It made for a relaxing evening. That's really weird.
This one, our final one from Carlos Avila, our queen, in 2010 writes, I hate romantic comedy. I always thought this kind of movie was made for fools, so I avoided this gender of movies. Nevertheless...
That's a kind of amazing typo. Because it works somehow.
It does. Nevertheless, when I saw the previews of this movie, I thought, cool, Gerard Butler saying things that girls do not like. I must see this movie. Even if this movie is not a masterpiece in movie history, I really enjoy it. I had a good time here in Latin America, where new generations reject so strongly the macho culture. It was so funny to me to see a couple of young ladies leave the movie theater because they started to feel sick about the funny things Gerard Butler's character says at the beginning of the movie. If you want to laugh a little, you must watch this movie. I bet you'll really enjoy it. The only romantic comedy I enjoy. 5 stars. Now, occasionally, we do first opinions. And first opinions, there's only 2%. I wanted to look there. And this one was written in 2015. Very disappointed. Since seeing Phantom of the Opera, I was enthralled with Gerard Butler. But I wish I hadn't watched this movie, because now I think less of him as an actor and a person. Because he accepted this role, plain and simple, it was foul. The entire movie is riddled with sexual overtones, undertones, direct references to parts of the female and male anatomies in a disgusting and distasteful manner. A scene involving, now the next word they spell out, they put a space between every letter. Masturbation. I will never understand why Hollywood is so fascinated with, again, space between all the letters, sex, and find every opportunity to include this subject matter in their storylines, when frankly, it's about as interesting as watching a scene with someone defecating in the toilet with all their grunts and groans.
What? What? Is this person single? Asking for a friend.
If you like something just a little better than soft porn, watch this movie. But if any of you feel like me and take the risk, take a shower after. 1 star.
Wow. What's crazy is that I'm just now finding out Gerard Butler was in Phantom of the Opera.
Me too. I had no idea.
Does he sing?
With Emmy Ross?
Yes.
Does he play Phantom?
Is he?
Oh my God.
Wow.
Here's one thing I want to tell you. To prepare for this role, Gerard Butler sat in on the Adam Carolla show for days to prepare for this character. So
I love it.
This is Gerard Butler doing Adam Carolla. And
Adam Carolla, who is essentially doing 1990s Howard Stern.
And one thing I'll say here, while this film came in 3rd in the United States the day it came out, in Great Britain, Ireland, and Scotland, the film topped the box office.
That's you. This is your fault.
It even beat out G.I. Joe: Rise of the Cobra by making 1.9 million pounds. All right, so would you recommend this movie?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I just want to say this, oh God, it's so hard because it's here's what doesn't make a lick of sense. It's like, she's not a career gal, you know? You can't be a woman who's just focused, they would have us believe from romantic comedies that women were just focused on their careers and nothing else. But it's but she's working in Sacramento and has no plans to leave.
Doesn't want
Ever.
to leave. Doesn't want to. When he says, how come some New York station hasn't snapped you up? She's like, I wouldn't want that.
Why would I go?
She is not a dreamer. She doesn't have aspirations. Here's what I'll say to answer your question. I absolutely say watch this movie for the podcast, but this is a failure of a movie on every level.
Except one.
Yeah.
And that's Jerry Butler.
Yes!
So I will say, I did, listen, in the Canada movies we watch, I was so thrilled to watch this. We're watching other movies that are coming up, and just by seeing them in my download section on my iTunes, I'm so upset and
How
scared.
glad are you didn't get Merlin the Return?
That's what I'm saying. So I was thrilled. I was happy to watch it.
Rupert Grimpert.
Rupert Grimpert, change his name. Make him change his name to Rupert Grimpert.
Where Rupert Grimpert farts.
So yes, I loved it. I enjoyed it, and I did enjoy him.
And I will say, the reason we enjoyed it was exclusively because of him. Because as is the case for so many other Gerard Butler movies, Den of Thieves, Plane, Kandahar, Geostorm. He is Geostorm! He's putting these movies on his broad, meaty shoulders, and he's taking us along for the ride.
And I'm interested. And when he's walking away and he's looking at her and you realize he's starting to fall in love with her, I am, despite all, I'm invested and I care.
Yep.
More Gerard Butler rom-coms is what I say, and I will also say this. This character went on to become his character in Den of Thieves.
I would love that if that was the case.
I once fell in love with a fucking news producer. Now I
rob banks.
He brings down people.
No,
who rob.
you're right. He's in the chef's department.
All right, we've never done this before, and I think I have a new little moment of the show here. We know that you all have watched it. Would you recommend to the audience at home that they should watch it? Wait, your turn. All right, should they watch it? Yes. Should they watch it? No. All right, there we go.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it sounds like you guys didn't like the movie.
It also sounded like everybody responded to both.
Yeah. I think the audience just is excited to have a voice. So they can listen later and be like, that's me.
Honestly,
that's me yelling.
Scotland, thank you so much for coming out on Easter Sunday. We had to add more seats after we initially sold out. We are thrilled to be here. Thank you so much.
Christ has risen.
He is risen.
Give it up for June Diane Raphael, Jason Mantzoukas,
Thank you.
Paul Scheer. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What a great night. Good night.
Eat shit, Scotland.
That's a wrap on our first ever show in Scotland. Thank you so much to everyone who came out to see us live, the staff at the O2 Academy, and our tour manager, Beth Thomas, and our recording engineer, Matt Rice. Okay, time to talk t-shirts. We actually created 2 t-shirts for this episode. Gerard Butler yelling, "Fuck London," and Rupert Grimpert. You can buy these shirts. I love my Rupert Grimpert shirt. It's truly the best. I got it as a baseball shirt. It rules. You can buy these shirts and every other shirt we've ever made at tpublic.com/stores/HDTGM. And my book is coming out in just a few days. 5/21 is the date. But if you pre-order it and go to my website, you can log in to an exclusive VIP section. All you have to do is show your proof of receipt and you'll get videos and pictures and so much stuff. I appreciate you all supporting the book. It's been overwhelming. The reviews have really been blowing me away. I got 3-star reviews in Kirkus and Library Journal, and it's been awesome. And I hope you really like the book. The audiobook is super fun. Has bonuses from How Did This Get Made and a bunch of other stuff. I'm excited and nervous, and I would love to have you see me on my book tour. If you bought your book, you can just come to one of the shows, and I'll sign it. You don't need to buy a book there. You can buy an $11 ticket to go see me and the editor of The New Yorker, David Remnick, in Brooklyn on 5/21, or you can maybe come see me in San Francisco in Corte Madre with Adam Savage, the original Mythbuster. It's a free show. That's totally free, and there's a bunch of sold out ones. Just go to my website. You can see what's available, and if you can't make it to any of my book tour, you can go to the virtual live signing. Jason Mantzoukas will pop up in there, so will Rob Hubel, and that means that it's a virtual live signing. It's just like a regular live signing. I'm going to sign a book. You're going to get that book sent to you. You're going to get to ask questions, and for 10 lucky people, I will make personalized video messages about whatever you want. But wherever you live in the world, I'm going to get a book to you through that virtual live signing. It's just, called joyfulrecollections.com. I believe that's where you can go there, or just go to my website once again. And it's cheap. It's not expensive. I've tried very hard to keep all these costs down, and I appreciate you coming out. And by the way, check out me and Pally. We're going to be in Chicago together, me and Adam Pally, just shooting the shit, having fun, doing a book show. It's going to be a blast. Just check out my website. It's all there. And How Did This Get Made will be at the Nantucket Film Festival on 6/20. There's still a handful of seats left for our Seattle Dinosaur Show. It's standing room only. I'm sorry. But again, my website has it all. As always, if you have a correction or omission from this episode, leave me a voicemail at 619-PAULASK, or write a comment on our Discord at discord.gg/HDTGM. And then make sure you tune in next week to our Last Looks follow-up episode on The Ugly Truth to hear me respond to all your messages, announce our next movie, and chat with Jason about all sorts of fun stuff. And last but not least, I got to thank our entire team who this show couldn't be done without. I'm talking about our producers, Scott Sani, Molly Reynolds, and our movie-picking producer, Avril Halley, our engineer, Casey Holford, and our associate producer, Jess Cisneros. That's all I got, people. We'll see you next week. Until then, bye for now.